Hello everyone and welcome back to my tips and tricks series for S.T.A.L.K.E.R Gamma. If there's any tips and tricks you'd like to suggest, leave them down in the comment section below, but before we get into this episode, here's some pictures of the cats. I hope you guys enjoy. Now the first two tips are actually mods that have to do with the PDA. The first one you're going to wonder why in the world isn't it in default Gamma to begin with, and the other one adds more functionality to the PDA. I'm assuming most of you know that when you click J it brings up the PDA and goes straight to the taskboard menu, but what you probably have been missing this entire time is the fact that there's a mod that allows you to go back. Yep, there's a previous task button. Why is this not in default Gamma? I have no idea. I haven't found any issues with it so far, and this is one of the most insane mods ever. Now, I don't know about you, but I click quite fast, plus my mouse double clicks from time to time, so it's like, oh no, I missed that controller brain, but now I can just click back. There we go, controller brain, turn that in. Now, you might have already noticed the second mod. Right up here next to messages, there's actually an interactive tab, which is from the 3D PDA mod. Now, obviously, both of these mods will be linked down in the video description, but keep in mind the previous button mod requires you to join the Gamma Discord, as it is available for download only in the Gamma Discord. So let's go ahead and click the interactive button and see what all it'll show us. We have raid, buy info, games, buy items, notes, communications, and tasks. Let's start with raids. Let's say we wanted to raid grape swamps for whatever reason. It says difficulty very easy. I can click the word send and looking for a group to raid great swamps. Now we just have to wait and see if anyone will take up our offer to raid the great swamps with us. All right, now I've been waiting here for a while and no one has responded, which is something that can happen. You're not guaranteed to get a response. However, if you want, as soon as I say that, someone popped up. So here we go. We have a duty guy with a squad of 2. Time for, I don't exactly know what that means, but I can hire them for 20K. Oh, 4 hours. Okay. And here we have another person who by themselves want to join us to go raid the Great Swamps. If you do get annoyed that no one is responding, you can actually edit the settings by going to your settings, go to mod configuration menu, and find PDA Interactive. So as soon as we go here, as you can see, you can change the respawn chance, the price power, and the maximum number of days. Oh, so it's not hours. Sorry, it's days. I'm actually really surprised you can rent them for that long. All right, but let's go ahead and cancel and check out some other things we can do. For example, buy info. The options we have is artifact, mutant, and stalker. That's right. We can actually type in someone's name and find them. Someone will say, hey, I think I know who that is, and it'll tell you the location of them. All right, but for now, let's choose artifact and let's see if anyone has seen a jellyfish recently. So go ahead and send that out. All right, I've literally been waiting here for a couple of minutes and so far no one's responded. So I'm assuming no one has seen a jellyfish recently. Shouldn't be surprising. Duty stay in the duty base and never leave. So maybe we should ask if anyone has seen a meat chunk. Maybe that's easier. Okay, this is the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. I asked if anyone has seen a cat recently and I got a ton of messages, and the first guy is a unison guy. Reputation bad, relations enemy. Ah, yes, let me buy that for you. I've seen a cat near outskirts bus station. Oh, what a helpful thing to tell me. That is hilarious. I love that. I love that so much. Thank you, ISG. But let's go into the third tab, otherwise known as games. That's right. You can play the slot machine if you want. You could do Sudoku. And do I get lucky? Wow. Okay, 2. That's pretty good. And there's also mini anomaly. Yes, you heard me right. There is mini anomaly. So using WASD, we can actually move around the area. See, this is pretty cool because this is something you can do mid-emission, you know, just like chilling, going around, trying to do all this stuff. Like, oh, there we go. Kill the dog. What is that, ammo on the ground? I think so. Yep, there we go. Go to the next level. There we go. What in the world? Is that green goop? Is that an anomaly? Yep, okay. Couldn't tell. Oh, I died. All right, now this fourth tab is something I personally don't use because I find it defeats the purpose of Gamma, which is the fact that, you know, you have to scavenge everything yourself, but it does balance itself out a bit. So as you can see, we can buy outfits, mutant parts, explosives, weapons, and basically anything. Now, it attempts to balance everything out by making everything kind of expensive and also making it to where you can get scammed, but in my opinion, it is a little bit overpowered. But I don't know, let's go to outfits. Let's just say, you know what, I need a red line jacket. After all, it gives you 30% more movement speed. So let's pick that. Delivery location, raw stock. I need 1. So let's go ahead and enable PDA control right there. Type in 1 and send. See if anyone can bring us one. Hey, there we go. Wait. Pause. A mercenary wants to come to raw stock to give me, okay, you know what, sure, 42K. Oh my God. All right, sure. I'll just buy it. Who cares? It says, all right, we'll hit you up and mark the place when it's done. So it said that I have to wait 15 hours. So I think we should just get some pills and go to sleep real quick. There we go. We slept a while. And private message, the package have arrived. And here is the spot. Okay, there we go. So now if we check the map, we should be able to find where the package is. Is that it? Yep. How much you want to bet this mercenary scammed us? Like, I don't even get how this guy got into raw stock anyways. But let's just see real quick. Ready, set. Oh, we actually got it. Nice. There we go. We now have our red line jacket. Now, as I mentioned, personally for me, I find the buying of stuff to be a bit overpowered, which is why I won't personally be using it in my playthrough. But if there's something you really, really badly need for whatever reason, like an artifact that you just can't seem to get, like a Phantom Star, then I think it's an okay way of getting it. Now, the fifth tab we have is notes. That's right, you can write your own notes. Day 1 in the zone. I don't know why spacebar just does that. I already want to die. There we go. All right, go ahead and add that, and now I have a note at the top. It'll tell me the date, the time, and what I said. All right, so the sixth tab is the communication tab. As you can see, we can send out an SOS signal to get help. We can ask for an emission time, a PSI-storm time, or a location status, which I actually don't know what that does, so we're going to try that out in just a second. So let's say we got a couple of quests to do in Truck Cemetery, but we don't know when the next emission is. We can go ahead and click confirm, send, and hopefully someone sometime soon will be able to pay them in order for us to know when the next emission is. And I might as well also ask when the next PSI-storm is. I'm assuming they can tell me both of them. So far, nothing has popped up, but I'm assuming that might be because this is a brand new save, and so there's not a ton of NPCs near me, but we could choose location status and see what happens also. All right, so I've been sitting here for about 5 minutes, and they haven't said anything in chat for whatever reason, so we're just going to go ahead and move on. But just know that you can ask for an emission time, a PSI-storm, or whatever location status does. Sorry. Now, this final tab is the actual reason I wanted to use this 3D PDA mod, and it is that you can get special tasks. So these tasks are actually separate from the normal tasks you can complete. So for example, even if you don't see any mutant kill quests in your area, you can still go to Mutant Hunt and send out a request. So there we go. Snitch wants me to kill a Chimera in Red Forest. Oh my god. Barkeep wants a cat in Dark Valley. Oh dang, Snitch will actually pay 26k for the Chimera. That's pretty good. So let's just go ahead and accept it just so I can show you. Now if I go to my map and zoom out, he wants me to go to Red Forest, it'll have this red circle. So that is where the Chimera is. And once we go there and kill it, we will immediately get our money. Now, here's the interesting part. If another NPC goes to that location and kills the mutant, you will not get the money for it. But as you can see, you got many tasks. Bounty, guide someone, find items for someone, dangerous squads you need to kill, courier, you know, bring a package from one area to another, find a unique artifact, scout a position, guard a position, steal an item from like a military base. In my opinion, this mod is well worth downloading just for this. All right, now on to tip number 3, which is that you should be using the PPSH. Seriously, give it a try. And this is not a joke. The reason I'm telling you this is because Grok does plan on nerfing 45 Hydra Shock. In other words, the MP5 Frazier, the Vector, and the USP Match Overwatch with its automatic upgrade will no longer be some of the best mutant killing weapons. Also, what's not to love about the PPSH? It has 71 bullets. You can kill 2 Chimeras, potentially even 3, depending on how well you aim. Just look at that. Now, unfortunately, when he does nerf Hydra Shock, he also plans on making it rarer to find the USP Match and the Glock 19 Horde. If you're curious why people like these guns so much, and let's try out the other one. There you go. Now, the next tip has to do with Goodwill. You might have noticed that I'm duty, and yet here I am in the bandit base, and no one is shooting or attacking me. That is because I have 1,200 Goodwill with the bandits. Now, as you can see, as soon as you hit 1,200 Goodwill, they will no longer shoot you. You do not have to use a disguise or anything, which the disguise is the main way for you to get quests for an enemy faction. Now, in order to raise your Goodwill, you're obviously going to need to do quests. So what I recommend doing is find some light or medium piece of armor that you can easily repair that is of the enemy faction. Go ahead and put that on. As you can see at the bottom, people will assume I'm a part of the Freedom community. Now, keep in mind, because of PDA Taskboard, we do not need to enter the base. We do not need to risk anything. We can stay out here, go ahead and refresh task, and for example, eliminate dangerous mutants. Let's go ahead and do that. So there we go. I've accepted it. Let's go see where they are. They're right over there. Let's go kill them. And now if I want to, I can go ahead and take off the armor because I don't need it on to do the quest. Not to mention there's normally duty soldiers over here, so I don't want to be accidentally shot at. And yep, see, there's duty. All right, it appears to be a dog or 2 maybe. There we go, there's one. Oh, that was it, all right. Now, in order to turn in the quest, we're gonna once again swap into the Freedom outfit. We're gonna put away our weapon and make sure that we walk slow next to people. Now, if you don't want to deal with some of the more annoying parts of the disguise system, what you can do is go to your settings real quick, go to gameplay and then disguise, and you can disable or enable whatever you want. So for example, to consider what item you currently have, to consider the durability of your outfit, to consider your backpack, your movement, or anything like that. So for example, right here, I have consider player movement. So if I were to keep running past Freedom members over and over again, I could potentially be found out. But either way, let's go ahead and come over here so that we can turn in the quest. Now, I recommend turning in the quest as quickly as possible. That way, there's no chance of them recognizing you. So here's this guy who my quest giver is. There we go. Job's done. All right, that's it. Now, if we open up the PDA and go to my relations, you're going to notice that I now have 50 Goodwill with Freedom. So just go over here, do a bunch of Freedom quests, and there you go. Duty will be friends with Freedom. Well, technically, Duty won't be friends with Freedom. You will be friends with Freedom. Doing Quest for Freedom is extremely important on duty because once you go up to Jupiter, Yanov, unlike in Call Appropriate, is not a neutral zone, and so you must become friends with Freedom if you want to do any quest in Jupiter besides at the ecologist base. Now, the next tip deals with early game money making. Most people just go up to a dead body and click left alt, and there we go. They grab all the good stuff, move on. However, if you really want to try to make as much money as possible, I recommend making sure to field strip all the parts off of a gun. So just right click, field strip, remove all. Right click, field strip, remove all. As long as the durability of the parts isn't like 1%, you can sell them to traders. And while they're not worth much individually, if you just go around and field strip everything that you can see, you will eventually make some decent money off of it. So there we go, field strip and field strip all. All right, here's the technician. If I scroll down and try selling him everything, so let's see, all of these parts, it only added up to 601 rubles, but hey, that's only from a couple of guns, so eventually it will add up. Now, once you finally get high goodwill with a faction, you're gonna be able to purchase this right here, a hunting axe, which has one property that a lot of people don't know about. I don't find this too useful, but some people might, so for those who don't know, you can actually right-click on the axe and choose chop wood. By doing this, it'll actually drain your hunger, your thirst, and it will make you sleepy. Time will also pass, and once you open your inventory, you're going to have one bundle of firewood, which if you right-click and disassemble, it'll turn into 2 wooden parts. Now, the reason I personally don't find this too useful is because you can go to pretty much any trader, and they should have firewood on them. So right here, let's go ahead and scroll down, and yep, 3 firewood. We can go ahead and buy all that, and there we go, just disassemble all of it. The only time I could see the chopping would be useful is if for whatever reason you can't get any sleeping pills and you need your guy to get tired quickly, because just doing chopping wood like 1, 2, maybe 3 times, he will get tired really quick. But it is a hog when it comes to using food and water. All right, so the next tip has to do with performance. In the top right, you're going to notice that I have an FPS counter. One of the tips people give very often with Gamma is to disable Core 0 and Core 1 and see if your FPS goes up. Now, the way that you're going to test this is by opening up Task Manager, go to the X-Ray Monolith engine right here, click Go to Details. It's going to bring up Anomaly DX whatever AVX, right-click on it, click Set Affinity, and then disable Core 0 and Core 1, and then see whether or not your FPS goes up. For some people, the difference will be quite major. For others, it's not that big. However, if it did make a difference, then there are 2 ways for you to permanently set your core affinity. That way, you don't have to do this every single time you launch the game. The first way is through a program called Process Lasso. All you got to do is download this, and then once you're in it, do exactly what we did in the Task Manager. In other words, go to the Anomaly EXE, CPU Affinity, always, and then go ahead and select what cores you want it to use, and it will always do those cores. Now, the second way, which is the one I recommend, is Anomaly Launcher. Basically, what this is a relatively new mod that adds a full new Anomaly Launcher, and on the settings right here, you can choose Use CPU Affinity. And when you choose this, the game will automatically disable Core 0 and Core 1 whenever you boot up the game. Another good thing about this launcher is, you know how sometimes you boot up the game and the launcher is just frozen for like a little bit? Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. This one is really responsive, which is super nice. You hear that? That's my final tip. Spatial Awareness. Now, Null Moxie told me to steal one of his tips, and so this is actually one of his that he covered 2 years ago. Please, I get questions all the time on my stream. How come you're doing so good in this one life Iron Man? How come you don't die that often? The main reason is because I'm not blasting music in my ears while I play. I have my volume up quite high, and I'm constantly listening for mutant sounds. Throughout the entirety of my One Life series, I only died a single time to mutants, and that was because there were 2 burrs. One kept draining my stamina while the other kept throwing my weapon away, so there was basically nothing I could do. But besides that, it is really easy to tell when mutants are nearby because all of them make their own individual sounds, and you can hear them from quite far away. I have literally heard a chimera that's all the way right there on that other hill from right here. The reason I wanted to make that the final tip is because I seriously get asked on stream so often, how do I survive so long while doing a One Life series and while doing Invictus attempts? And every now and then I'll click on that commenter's YouTube channel or their Twitch page and watch like a quick VOD or snippet of them playing, and most of the time they have music so loud that there is no way they would possibly be able to hear a chimera. But seriously, once you play this game enough, you'll be able to recognize every single mutant just based on the sound that they make from a distance. And it's the same thing with NPCs. If you're sneaking around, you might hear a voice line and immediately know, oh, that's military, that's a bandit, that's duty. But either way, I hope some of these tips and tricks helped you out, and if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comment section down below. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.